Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel The Israeli. Today we're going to talk about China-Israel relations. Next year Israel is supposed to celebrate 30 years of diplomatic relations with China, which have improved greatly during the last decade, especially because of Israeli technology in the information technology that has to do with gathering information, of course, surveillance, facial recognition, and all that type of stuff, artificial intelligence, and of course, China's attempt to expand its Belt and Road Initiative into the Middle East, where it sees Israel as a very important aspect of it. During the different conflicts that Israel had, China usually takes the side of the Arabs. And since most of the conflicts are with the Palestinians, China usually takes a pro-Palestinians stand, which is more or less understandable because in the region, most of the countries, all of the countries except Israel, are Muslim Arab countries, and diplomatically, in the United Nations, they have a lot of votes, and China wants to become a world player and to try to challenge America in places that are important to America, and Israel is one of them. But up until now, China didn't really try to mitigate too much. It usually just gave its pro Palestinian stand, said a few words, but didn't push too much to do anything other than that. But apparently, this conflict, it has changed a bit, and we're going to look at an article. There are many articles that you can see about this, and the interesting thing is, before we go over this article, is that when I was looking for this type of article in Israeli media, in the leading Israeli media, I couldn't find anything. Now, this is the Jerusalem Post, but this is in English. And in Hebrew, I found only a few news outlets, but they're not very popular outlets. In the popular outlets, they don't really talk about this, which means that they don't want the Israeli people to get too angry or too concerned about China and its relations with Israel. Because China is, after all, well, China. Okay, let's go over this article real fast. We're not going to go over the whole article. It's a really long article. So why has China emerged as the leading critic of Israel over Gaza? Which is interesting because this is more or less the first time that this has happened. So they became a harsh critic over the conflict, but most of it was directed at the United States, which is also very, very interesting to see. We're going to talk about maybe why that is happening. Okay, however, the recent controversy over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza has elicited harsh comments from China, some directed at the United States, but which appear to be tougher criticism of Israel than in the past. And this is very interesting to see. So, for instance, on May 16th, China Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that the U.S. was obstructing an attempt by the UN Security Council to speak with one voice on Israel's action in Gaza. What they're trying to say here that China is trying to protect the Muslims and the Palestinian people, and the country that's stopping them in the United Nations is the United States. Yeah. Yang Yi said the escalation conflict between Israel and the Palestinians had caused a large number of casualties. The language of the statement did not mention Hamas rockets fired at Israel, which means they take a one-sided stance, which is also very interesting. But it seems like they're doing it mostly against America more than against Israel. Strongly condemns violent acts against civilians and once again urges both parties to the conflict to immediately stop military and hostile actions. So again, they're playing this game of both parties to stop, but they're not mentioning Hamas rockets at all. And of course, China reiterates its support for a two-state solution. So again, this is trying to balance everything out. Statements also noted that China is a supporter of the Palestinian people, that China has offered to have peacemakers from Palestine and Israel to come to China for dialogue. Now, this is a direct challenge for America, because up until now, America is the only one who actually mitigates between the talks. Of course, we always have Egypt and we have other countries that come and support, but America is the main glue that is supposed to bring the two parties together, which is maybe one of the reasons why the peace process hasn't advanced the way it should advance. But now China is trying to go into that place as well. Now they know it's not going to happen. They know the Israelis are not going to accept China as a mediator in this subject, and America is not going to. But they're trying to do it anyway because it's part of politics. They're putting it out there for the Muslim world to show them, here, look, we are willing to help with this issue as well, and we are the protectors of the Muslim world. Now, of course, this is something that we have to remember, that China is China is having a lot of problems, diplomatic problems, public relation problems with what is happening with the Uyghur Muslims in China. And I saw an article not too long ago where they asked Turkish students to make pictures of what they thought when they thought of China, and the pictures did not come out very pro-Chinese. Yeah, they came out very bad, which means they have a big problem. So they're trying to use Israel because they know that Israel is a very sensitive topic when it comes to the Middle East. They're trying to use that in order to show the Muslims, we're not anti-Muslim, we are pro-Muslim, we are pro-Arab, and don't think about what is happening in China. And if you do think about it, take our narrative and not the West narrative. Don't believe America and what the West is saying about what we're doing. Believe what we're doing, because look, we are good to you, we are on your side. Now, for me, this is very dangerous because China and the United States are two empires, and they have this Cold War going between them. And China is also having a bit of a problem with this Belt and Road Initiative, and many countries are not accepting it. And now they're trying to put themselves into the Middle East conflict, the Israeli conflict, in order to make a stand against America, just like America is making a stand against China with Taiwan, for example. So they're trying to make Israel America's Taiwan in a sense, if that makes sense. Now, for me, this is very scary because we have enough problems of our own that can lead to very disastrous outcomes. But if China comes in there with their Cold War, this can become quite crazy. Now, I want to go over another article really fast just to show that Russia also has a harsh condemnation against Israel. And what does that mean for the future? Now, we're not going to go over this article, but Russia is also playing more or less the same game as China. Only Russia has a stronger footing in the Middle East, especially in Syria, and many of the weapons that are in the Middle East are Russian weapons. But China is a much stronger country, and both China and Russia are in this axis against America at the end of the day. So, and of course, in this article about China, they also speak about Iran and Turkey. China just signed a 25-year deal with Iran, which is something that is very troublesome for Israel as well. And this is all becoming a bit much. Sorry about that. This is all becoming a bit much. And it's becoming very scary, and people are not talking about it because everybody's talking about Israel and Hamas and this whole mess that it's in. But on a more global, on a more macro sense, big things are happening with America, China, and Russia, Iran, and Turkey on a smaller sense, but they are satellites to that. And of course, Israel is there in the middle, and the Palestinians are there in the middle. And this has all the ingredients for something very, very scary that hopefully will not come in the future. One of the things that does make me feel a bit better is that China is interested in a stable Middle East, because for its Belt and Road Initiative to work on any level, it needs the Middle East to be stable and calm. China does not really want wars and battles. It doesn't have that type of interest. But it does have an interest to stand and challenge America. And those two things at some point might be in the interest of China to show America that it's stronger in the Middle East, using the Middle East as a proxy war, and then having their way on the Middle East. I don't know where this is going. I really don't. If any of you think that what I'm saying here doesn't make any sense, or do think it makes sense and have any ideas where this might be going, please write it in the comments. I'll be very interested to hear. This is something that's a bit worrisome. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I know it's a bit different than the other videos that I've shown. But it is an interesting topic, how China is trying to position itself in a position of power in the Middle East by trying to mediate between the Palestinians and the Israelis, even though they know it's a very strange story, and we're going to have to see how it's going to progress. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this content, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.